Today Xiaomi announced the Mi 8. It's their new flagship with a Snapdragon 4.5 and also the new Snapdragon 710. That's going to in fact be a world's first. We've got 3 models this time around. So instead of just say the Mi 7, which we're not going to get of course because it's the 8th anniversary of Xiaomi, they decided to name it the Mi 8. But we've got different models here. So I'll start off with the standard model, you could say, the Mi 8. So this has a 6.2-inch screen. It's an AMOLED panel from Samsung with a maximum brightness of 600 nits of brightness. So it's going to have deep blacks, really bright. We're moving away from IPS panels. It's great to see this. So that is a good move. But what isn't a good move, and we knew it was coming, the notch. The notch is here with Xiaomi. I don't agree with this silly trend with mobile phones at the moment. I hope it dies out as quick as it started. But anyway, it is there and we have 3D face mapping and unlocking. So what this promises, according to Xiaomi, is a very secure form of face unlocking that will also be very fast and it will be reliable in low light. So if you happen to do the face unlocking at night, and a lot more effective there. So that is good. I'm happy with that. I'm happy with the AMOLED panel. Now when it comes to the design, when you look at the phone straight away, it just screams iPhone 10. So yeah, it is. Let's admit, it's a shameless copy of that design. And it does look a lot like the Mi Mix 2S, the camera modules on the back, the way they are orientated, the fingerprint reader there as well, and the glass material too. The corners, the edges, got a Type-C port on here. We have NFC. I believe on the top spec model, we do have wireless charging. I hope they haven't opted to leave that out. I mean, on the Mi Mix 2S that I have in my hand here, this does have wireless charging. The cameras, so they're hyping them up. They say it has a DxO rating of 99, but take DxOMark ratings with a pinch of salt. I don't believe they can be trusted. Anyway, the main sensor is a Sony IMX363 with a pixel size of 1.4 micrometers, so it should be good in low light. It does have optical image stabilization for access, electronic image stabilization. There's no mention of 4K 60 frames per second. Now, we've got a secondary sensor that's used for the depth effect mode, which is another 12 megapixel one. It's a Samsung, and that'll give us the blurred backgrounds. It's got AI scene detection up to 206 modes. All the typical stuff that is with the Mi 2S as well that's got that AI scene detection. You can disable it too if you don't want it. Front-facing camera is 20 megapixels, f2.0 aperture. You do have those animojis if you like that sort of thing. I personally don't, so I'll never probably use that. Now another first here for Xiaomi is dual GPS models. Now you may think of this as a bit of a gimmick, that why would you need 2 GPS modules when there's nothing wrong with the single GPS with my Snapdragon 845 on the Mi Mix 2S, for example. But if you're a tramper, you're a hiker, you're a mountain biker, a cyclist, maybe you do want really accurate GPS, and this phone, Xiaomi is promising that it's going to be the most accurate phone out there when it comes to GPS and GLONASS and all that. Now I'm looking forward to testing this out because I'm a mountain biker myself. Then we get on to the more expensive models. So both of these models also have a 3,400 milliamp hour battery as well. I would have liked to have seen 4,000 milliamp hours, but I guess they couldn't fit it in there. Who knows what their excuse is for that. Anyway, the Explorer model, the Mi 8 Explorer, has a transparent back on it. So like the recent HTC model that's just been released, you can see some of the internals. So it does look cool. But the main feature it has that separates it from the main model, and it's $200 US more expensive because of it, is we do have an in-screen fingerprint reader. So very similar to the Vivo X21, but it's slightly different because it has a pressure sensor in there as well. So as soon as you press down, it will detect that and unlock. Now I don't believe a lot of people will be using this, and it's going to be worth the extra 200 US because you'd probably just stick with that face unlocking, wouldn't you? So you wouldn't be using it. Just unlock would be a lot faster. So I don't really get why. I understand why they want to put that in there. Now you do of course get 2 gigabytes of RAM more and 64 gigabytes of storage more for that about 600 US, the price of the Explorer model. Now the standard model, that one's going to cost about 420 US in China. So when retailers export it to anyone that wants to buy it outside of China, expect an additional 100 US or so more on top of that price. Sadly, that's just the way it is. Now the more interesting, and I feel probably the best model, considering the value for money, is going to be the Mi 8 SE model, and they're even copying Apple's naming scheme here. This one has the Snapdragon 710, so that should be a good chipset. Its performance will be, I believe, very similar to a Snapdragon 820, But the best thing about it is it's got a smaller screen, 5.88 inches. It still has the notch, sadly, but AMOLED panel too. But it's only going to be about $300 US in China. So that one's priced really well. And for me, that's the most interesting model. Now, I will be checking out all of these different models in my channel at some point. I aim to get the standard edition as soon as possible, hopefully about on the 8th or 10th of June. So stay tuned to the channel for that. Now, these models are all going to come, hopefully, but probably not actually shipped with MIUI 10 that was also just announced. So that has some notification changes, just different aesthetics to it, a few little tweaks. It'll still be based on, I believe, Android 8.1. And the phone is probably going to actually ship, though, with MIUI 9.5. So let me know in the comments, what do you think about the new Mi 8? Is it exciting? Is it a boring release? Is it a clone of the iPhone 10? Thank you so much for watching this video, and I do hope to catch you back with my next one. Bye for now.